Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, sir. Today I will be discussing Lesson 2, the Crisis Management Strategies. So, strategies are specific to every kind of crisis. However, it must be understood that there is no single formula or approach to prevent similar crisis incidents, but only to mitigate at a minimum. Crisis management should be proactive at all times. It will be useless if it is not reactive, since the crisis has already occurred. Management prior to occurrence. This pertains to lay down plans of action to prevent untoward events like, for example, vehicular accident. That preventive actions, it is the acronym of BLOW gadget. And here's are the examples on how to manage social crisis. How to manage crisis. Letter A, social crisis. Social crisis has 9 ways to address and manage social crisis. Number 1, create social media policy. Policies serve as the roadmap and regulation for all activities and actions when dealing socially, especially within use of social media and today's postmodern condition, where communities virtually meet each other and transaction business, like online selling here in TikTok or Facebook or in other social media. For example, they are selling beauty products. The seller or the employee should protect their confidential information, because it is prohibited from posting any information that is considered confidential or copyrighted without explicit written permission. Number 2, stay transparent. When speaking about on behalf of the company, be transparent about your relationship with the company. And last, follow the company policy. All employee or seller must adhere to any provided employee guidelines with using social media reference to the company. Number 2. Secure your account. Social account is your personal identity, of which it portrays who you are in public depending on the context you are exposing. To prevent and protect sensitive accounts from unauthorized access, because if you have weak password, a hacker can gain access to your accounts. By securing your accounts and being selective in your exposures, you will be safe from untoward ridiculous and stress. Number 3, use social listening to identify potential issues. Social media takes over other news outlets like newspaper, radio, and television. This is to process and analyze conversations on social media and turning those insights into better business decisions. And also, you can monitoring and tells what your people are saying. At an instant, you will be informed of updated issues. However, you need to securitize these issues, because individuals uses the same idea to influence the public and their illicit agenda. These are known as fake news. Number 4, define what counts as a crisis. On social issues, crisis emanates from fake news that brings stress to the reading public. And it also includes computer viruses that destroys files, are being attacked, that causes loss of money from the bank, that result into public panic and economic breakdown. Number 5, craft a crisis communication plan. and every organization, it is a must part of the policy or action plan such that at any given time when an untoward incident happen, uh, because there is a must protocol to follow where all members of the organization and other stakeholders will be immediately informed and warned, and also to report untoward incidents. Number 6. Stop all scheduled posts. Stop all scheduled posts when necessary. Due to exigency, you may decide to hold posting of your delicate information to avoid leakage to those unscrupulous individuals who may use it, steal your identity, and use it their illicit businesses. For example, uh, my friend have my friend uses the scammer uses my friend's name, Facebook, and everything to scam or identity to scam other people. So these scammers are liable for the crime of cybercrime or stealing identities or fraud. Number 7. Engage but don't argue. This is engage but don't argue. Try to read the context on FB, Twitter, and other social media portals. If you are sensitive enough, you will find out that these are used of bringing out outrages of others, because they are used it to promote especially their political agendas. Globally and nationally level, opposing groups are fighting with each other that result to public uprising. Hence, to correct this possible crisis, to engage means giving your point of view in a proactive tone and avoid negative comments that will trigger emotional upheaval to others. Number 8. Communicate internally. Your communications in order to avoid external comments from those who have nothing to do with your business. Try as much as possible to make your account private, not open to public. Since if your account is open to public, it is therefore open to public scrutiny, which may end up giving you a headache, especially when somebody wants to sabotage you or your family by posting illicit matters in your account. And last number, learn from the experience. As the old saying goes, experience is the best teacher. Have you experienced receiving information from your account stating that you want something, yet before you claim a such price, you need to pay an amount for processing? That is a scam. Other matters like ordering goods items on online where the picture posted are very enticing, yet after you paid and received the goods, that's not meet the it's being advertised. Letter B, the economic crisis. The disparity of living condition between the have-ones and the have-nots continue to separate in every wide gap. It is dealing with something that affects the entire economy. There is many sectors, from financial sectors such as bank closing down to retail shops, restaurants going to bankrupt. So there are the following measures to mitigate this crisis. Stockpile valuable tools. Tools are means to uptrend production and sustain it with lesser expenses of hiring labor to do it for you. For example, your business is farming. It is better to have your own equipment rather than renting it from others. At the end of the day, you will find out you will losing investment and a very productive period. Grow your food. Backyard gardening or establishing your own farm will not only give you fresh foods but also sustain food supply. And today everybody are getting to be health conscious. Hence, organic farming is highly recommended. And also, practically, you can also save money if you plant your own food or vegetables. Number 6. Prepare to live with little or no electricity. Simple living means healthy living. It is true that electricity feels luxury living but at the same time deprive us from enjoying the natural provision of healthy living. Because this is so since it makes us lazy with the comfort of our television sets and air-conditioned rooms and forget that our body needs exercise. Electricity deprives us to breathing the freshness of the natural air and likewise. So we should train or practice ourselves with lessen our electricity. Go outside, enjoy the world without gadget, Wi-Fi, and electricity. Strengthen your financial status. There is no sure or guaranteed investment that is true. Everything is temporary, and that is why those who take the risks and focus their attention to what they are doing are the ones that survive. Set aside amounts from leisure activities in order to avoid spending too much. Start investment and put your money to your bank account so your future child will not suffer hunger. And one article said, your children are not your insurance, while it is your responsibility to provide for the future of your children. It is also our responsibility to save for them to have time so we can no longer afford to engage in physical works. Number 7. Learn basic skills. Young people today, due to the influence of technology, thinks that it's enough to earn degree or find an employment to receive a pay every 1 to 30th of the month. Basic skills provide other source of income and save unnecessary expenses like your electric fan is broken. If you know how to repair it, you can save from the labor. Number 8. Build a relationship. Support from the neighbors and relatives as well as friends is a must. As the saying goes, no man in the island we need others to fill in the gap within us. No one has everything that is the beauty of life. We are just part of the whole, which if any part of the whole manufactured, the entire whole will feel the pain and weight of the manufactions. Number 9. Prepare to share. In economic parlance, hoarding is a crime. Supply and currency are made to be used and spent to mobilize economy. When you have money, spend it. When you have products, share it. Remove from your perspective the thinking of storing it from the future. What if you store millions of savings if your cabinet is depriving yourself for your necessities that leads to your death? Don't you have any idea you will enjoy what you have stored? Number, be ready to protect your family. The needs of the family is the primordial importance. Failure to provide for your needs of the family is the worst failure you will ever suffer. That is why when you are still single, do not rush to build a family when you are not emotionally and financially prepared. It is not necessary that you must have several millions in your bank account, but when you are emotionally stable, you can do a lot of economically provide for your family. 11. Maintain the current passport. Retirement age is inevitable, and that is the time where you are supposed to enjoy what you have invested for. Travel while you can. Visiting places will enhance your wisdom that you can transfer to your next generation. Retirement age should not be a point of suffer from poverty. Instead, it is a time to scan what the world has to stock for your remaining life. And last, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. A person with contingencies planned is always ready for the eventuality. Nothing in this world is purely bed of roses. Instead, full of promising opportunities and failure, it depends on how we set our perspectives. But remember, whenever we do, we should not deprive others. Instead, will be for the support for the common objectives, enjoyment, and the satisfactions. And last for my topic is environmental crisis. Disasters brought about the degraded environment almost always leave behind widespread devastations like typhoons, earthquake, disease, and the likes. And the best way to prevent environmental degradation by Shrikanta on January 30, 2019. So, reduce our overall consumption of resources. Our natural resources are already dwindling due to overconsumption and abuses of our mountains are already barren without trees to prevent landslide and hold water during the rainy seasons. As we can see, the effects of typhoons, that is floods and downstream cities, no amount of dredging the flood control project can mitigate these devastating effects of floods and typhoons unless we go basic green programs that worthwhile. Greening programs like planting trees to prevent typhoons. Reuse all the resources and materials that we can possibly can. Young generation today do not have this basic understanding of maximization of resources. Everybody is glued to the synthetic materials brought about by technology. They do not even have concern what is happening in our environment, and the educational system is contributory to since what is being taught in school is competition instead of collaboration. Recycling what we can whenever we can. Related to the first and second principle, the young generation are also extravagant in terms of material things, never knowing where these things came from. So commercialization also takes its tolls when businesses and corporations produces surpluses for economic gains and profit without concern ton of what will have for tomorrow. For example, paper production. How many trees will be cut down to produce a ream of bond paper? It is estimated at least 10 cubic meters of raw materials. Yet in offices, the use of this paper seems just easy to use and throw, but imagine the destruction of the resources just to produce a piece of it. Number 4. Green transportation. Luxury over healthy living is a norm today's generation. Gone were these days no less than Ariel Jureta or the tractor of President Ferdinand E. Marcos has made a great declaration. Sa ikakaunlad ng bayan, bisikleta ang kailangan. Which is real true. If only men will go back the basic of walking instead of riding any motor vehicle when going to the market or groceries. And last, give back the environment. Under the DENR law, when you cut trees, plant and maintain their placement. But this is happening? No, because the commercial returns of cutting, stripping and selling a lumber of planting cash crops is a very individual today is enough there. So where to gain the problem here? It's just education from the home. Parents do not practice it hence. How much with their children? And that's all my report. That's all my report, sir.